Here in the West Salem neighborhood, the police department is teaming up with Winston-Salem State University and the Center for Community Safety to develop a new approach to increase community safety and fight crime. It's called smart policing.
It's an analysis, but it's not just a crime analysis for us. It's also an analysis of actual geographic areas, as well as the capacity for the community to interact with the police department, to form partnerships with both businesses and with citizen groups, as well as the faith community, and to come back and impact crime in a way that's more than just straight police suppression. We can put officers down in almost any area, and as long as the officers are there, we'll suppress crime. But what we're looking for is a systemic change in the community. Law enforcement has a piece of it, but it's actually in partnership with the community itself.
Last year, the police department was one of only 10 cities to receive federal grants to develop smart policing practices.
The goal of our smart policing model is to go into neighborhoods and into communities which already have somewhat of a structure in place for involvement of citizens and businesses to interact with the police department. The hope will be is that we will take an intelligence-led or data-driven policing initiative and be able to replicate it in communities throughout Winston-Salem.
All smart policing initiatives are intended to use information to develop more effective ways to ensure public safety while reducing costs. Denise Nation, an assistant professor of justice studies at Winston-Salem State University, is determining what information the police department needs.
When you think about this idea of intelligence-led policing, we're saying it is data-driven. We look at the data. We look at the crime data. We look at hot places, hot people, hot times, and we then really move our resources based on those things, okay? And so you don't have police just kind of patrolling. So it's more proactive policing.
The data will be turned over to the Center for Community Safety.
Once we get it, we understand what they're saying, and then we try to see where and what the data is telling us, and then based upon that, we try to work with them to engage those residents that are impacted by the offenses or the information that the data is really showing us.
The police department chose the West Salem neighborhood because it has all the qualities it was looking for.
What we were looking for as our initial neighborhood is an area which we have a history of working with the community. There's very strong neighborhood association and business commitment in the area. We have community partners that live and work in this area. We also have a crime problem in this area, which is significant, but not so much so that it cannot be overcome by the efforts of the police department and the community working together.
And that is why it's important for not just community leaders, but the community residents to be involved in their community. Because when you talk about stuff like intelligence-led policing or problem-oriented policing, the underlying concept in all of this is community-oriented policing, where the community has to be a partner with the police to solve any problems. The way police solve most crimes is because someone come and tell them, okay? And so police institutions, organizations obviously want to have a very friendly relationship with whatever community that they patrol, whatever community they're involved in.
But I think that you have to have a strategy to make the people neighbors, to care about the guy next door no matter what he is or where he's from.
And I think it's almost like you go along for 2 or 3 blocks, everything's good, then you have a block where it's not so good. But what it comes back to is people knowing each other.
The timetable for this effort really started about 9 months ago, and it's really now moving into the stage where it's more public. And as this moves through, there'll be a couple of months or so of where the community and the police actually are talking with each other about what they found and how they can go about really developing a communication strategy so that everyone knows what's going on.
The end result for smart policing for the Winston-Salem Police Department and the community that we're in is a reduction in crime. The measurement is that the West Salem community is safer, that the citizens that live in this community are involved in a process which allows them to have input into their police department and into making the community safer.
Police officers across the country are really telling us you can't arrest yourself out of crime. You have to have the community to support and actually sustain the efforts that are impacted.
That it's going to be inclusive. We want everyone to be able to participate with this. And in the community in West Salem, is kind of a microcosm of the city of Winston-Salem itself. It's very, very diverse neighborhood, and it's very well represented in the sense of the other parts of the community that we're going to work in.